Before we begin today's episode, I want to give you some context. I am in the hot seat. I'm going into a tapping session, which is called EFT with Amy, and I'm very vulnerable. I talk about my health. I talk about the book. I talk about finances surrounding disability and the fear of success, the fear of losing my finances and also failure. It's very vulnerable. It has some emotional charges. So be aware of yourself. And if you're a visual learner, I have the visual conversation on YouTube. So the link is in the show notes. So go take a look if you want to see actually what that looks like. And, if this isn't for you, just skip along. It's all right. Go to another episode that would be more engaging. If you sound like, woo, I want to learn a little more, especially if you have chronic illness, disability, or you want to try a new modality because you feel there's some stuckness in your body and you want to move it through, it was very transformational for me. So, again, vulnerability, warning, be aware of yourself, and also, just be curious of trying something new if you're willing to. So, let's do this work together. Welcome to the Lift Oneself podcast. I'm your host, Nat Nat, and today I am putting myself in the hot seat and I am going to go through an EFT tapping session with our guest, Amy, and she's going to let you know what EFT is because I'm sure some of you might be like, what are you talking about? So, Amy, could you please graciously introduce yourself and let the listeners know a little bit about who you are and what EFT is and what brought you there?
I would love to. Thank you for having me today, Nat. Appreciate it. My name is Amy Vinsa. I am a tapping coach and have been a tapping coach for over 16 years, but I've also been in many other areas of the wellness industry for over 20 as a nutritional therapist and a colon hydrotherapist and an NLP practitioner, kind of done the whole rounds, trying to find my thing that really stuck with me, and tapping has been it by far. I was introduced to tapping by a friend of mine, um, over 20 years ago, and I got certified shortly thereafter because I had been diagnosed with breast cancer, and I was on a mission to really uncover why I got it. I was have always been a really curious person. And so especially about human nature, really just wanting so deeply to understand how and why people do the things that they do. And I had kind of an intuition that my cancer was brought about because I was in a really depressed state at the time. And I had a really loud critical voice going on in my head constantly. And I think that negativity created a mass. And so I needed to uncover the reasons why I got into that negative place so that I could avoid getting cancer again. That was my whole motivation. Like, I just don't want to have history repeat itself, sort of thing. But there was no history of breast cancer in my family, nothing like that. So it came really out of the blue. Um, so I found tapping, and I'm going to say, limited success with it at first. Sometimes when I was working with my own coach, I would have great success. Sometimes it would just kind of fall flat. And I didn't understand what the difference was. But about 7 years ago, I had another crisis moment in my life where just everything was kind of crumbling around me with my job, and my body was in pain a lot. And I was having anxiety attacks every day. And I started tapping. Instead of tapping at a high level, like on the symptoms that I was experiencing, I really tried to get to what was underneath the symptoms. And I got down to the root trauma, which is that my dad left when I was little. And I made a decision when I was little that there was something wrong with me. And so I was constantly looking at the world through that lens. And it shaped every single decision I made, every single friendship, every single job, every single like relationship, you name it. Um, and so when I started applying tapping to the trauma of him leaving and the fear that there was something wrong with me and that I was unworthy and undeserving of anything good. That was when my life truly changed, and I was able to recognize how powerful this tool really is, because it doesn't just help in a moment. It's not just a band-aid in an anxious moment, or feeling really hurt or sad or something like that. Well, it is great for those things, but it can actually heal trauma from the root and make it so that you don't have to experience the symptoms, which are things like procrastination and addiction and, I don't know, people pleasing and perfectionism and being a workaholic, whatever it is. Those are all symptoms of fears and limiting beliefs that have resulted from trauma. So if you get to the source of that and you apply tapping to the source, that's when you can truly experience massive transformation in your life. And that was the moment when I quit my job and I started my practice and I built the app, and because it just became so important to me to make sure everybody knows that this tool is available to them.
Thank you for that. And thank you for, you know, um, EFT, a lot of people started hearing about it probably like 10 years ago. There was a buzz, yet you're talking about 20 years ago. So you
Mm-hmm.
were in a space where people were probably thinking it was woo woo, it doesn't have any kind of value.
Oh, people
What do
still
you,
think it's woo woo. I
right?
know. Yeah.
And it's, unfortunately, the world isn't being introduced about the nervous system and what we subscribe to. A lot of people are like, trauma is me. And it's like, no, it's the experience and how you experienced it. And
Mm-hmm.
then there's this powerful thing about beliefs and what is the script you created around that belief because
Yep.
of your
Yep.
defense mechanisms that are trying to protect you from these emotions that you don't know how to feel and process. So a
Yeah.
lot of people are like, well, I know how to feel, like I cry all the time. And it's like, okay, you're feeling it, but are you processing your emotion? Can you understand why the tears are there? Are you able to listen to what's coming up in the body? And many of them are like, "Oh, that's a different level." And it's like, yeah. So,
Yes.
as I said, I'm willing to be in the hot seat and come through in a session with you and allow the listeners to see the gift that you have and put my vulnerability out there. I've done inner child work. I've done Akashic records. I've done others. So the vulnerability, I appreciate that I can provide that for myself while
Mm-hmm.
also allowing other people to see what that is. So it gives them permission to go deeper within themselves. So, Amy, take the lead and I will follow.
Okay, you did ask me, I forgot to answer this part. You did ask me to give the listeners a little explanation about what tapping is. So if you'll indulge me, I'll do that really quick so people understand exactly what's happening and why it's so powerful. It's really a combination of three different modalities. The first one being energy therapy, just like acupuncture, using the 14 energy meridians found in Chinese medicine. But obviously, instead of using needles on our acupressure points, we are using the percussion of tapping on our acupressure points in order to help break up blocked energy and allow it to start flowing again. Because when our energy is flowing in our body, that's when we were in a state of healing or in a state of health. So that's what we want. We want flowing energy. And a fear or a limiting belief or a trauma of some kind results in a blockage of our energy in some area of our body. And so we need to break that up and help it to flow again. And then there is the cognitive therapy aspect, because you are actively talking about what you want to release while you are tapping on your acupressure points. And verbally releasing and talking about your feelings is a really powerful tool, because it is actually getting things out of your body. And people often will tell me how cathartic it is to actually say the words, as opposed to just having these swirling thoughts in their head without anywhere for them to land. So getting them out of their body is a really important aspect. And then there is the somatic therapy aspect, because when we are in a state of anxiety or stress or overwhelm of any kind, um, our amygdala has been triggered and we are in a state of fight or flight and we're worrying about the past or we're worrying about the future. And so bringing all of our energy back into our body, you can't help but do that because you are tapping on your body and you are actively feeling the tapping. So you're bringing your body back, your energy back into your body and back into this present moment where actually everything is okay. There is no threat in this present moment, typically when you're doing a tapping session. So that is your most powerful, most efficient place to be is in the present and in your body. And so when you combine all three of those things, it is a really powerful process for your body to go through. And it will lower cortisol in your body 43% faster than if you had done nothing else. It will lower your heart rate, your blood pressure. It will increase your immune system response, and it will increase happiness levels. So, all of that is happening while you're doing this simple thing of tapping on your acupressure points and talking about what you are feeling. So, with that in mind, I do want to go through all of the tapping points really quick before we actually start working with you, um, because all tapping practitioners will use probably a little bit different points. I like to tap on all 14 energy meridians just because I'm here. I want to make sure I'm getting the most bang for my buck. So I'm tapping on both sides of my body on all 14 meridians.
Mm-hmm.
So the first point is just down from your pinky finger. It's called the karate chop point, like if you were going to hack a piece of wood with your hand, and you
Mm-hmm.
tap those two spots together. And this is where we're going to say something called an even though statement. Like, even though I'm feeling really sad right now, I still love and honor all my thoughts and feelings about this. So we'll say that 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
And then we go into what's called repeater phrases, tapping on different points in our body. So the first point is right here at the beginning of your eyebrows. So I like to tap with a couple of fingers just to make sure that I'm covering the right spot
Mm-hmm.
and not so hard that you're hurting yourself, but hard enough so that you feel it.
Mm-hmm.
And then the second point is on the side of your eye, right at your temple. And then under your eye, on your cheekbone. And then under your nose, under your mouth. Collarbone point. If you find the beginning of your collarbone, you're going to go down about an inch. There's a little valley in between your collarbone and your ribs on either side of your sternum. So that's where you want to tap. And then under your arms, right where for women, it's right where your bra strap is pretty much. I hug myself. Some people go like this, or you can just do one side or the other, whatever's most comfortable.
Okay.
And then on your ribs, just below your breasts. So right there, right under your underwire, basically.
Okay.
And then your wrists, you've got 3 spots. There's one on the outside, middle, and outside. So I'm tapping my wrists together and I'm turning them so I can get all 3 spots. Another way to do it is to kind of go like this with your fingers so that you can make sure and hit all 3 spots. And then the last one is up on top of your head. So as we're saying these repeater phrases, we say one repeater phrase like, I'm feeling so sad right now. And then we move to the next spot. And then we say another repeater phrase like, I feel all the sadness in my heart. And then we go to the next spot and we just keep going around and around. And
Okay.
it's okay if one spot feels better than the others and you can stay there for a while. You don't have to tap exactly where I'm tapping, but you just need to keep moving eventually. So you might stay there for a while if the collarbone point feels really good, or if your cheekbone feels really good, but you just keep moving around eventually.
Okay.
So, what we're going to do is talk about a little bit about what it is you want to work on today, Nat, and then we will take a rating 0 to 10 to figure out where you are on the intensity of um, your emotion around this topic. And then we'll do a tapping round and we'll take another rating and see how much it's come down.
Okay.
Okay, so what you mentioned promoting your work. You have a book coming out soon and you have to go out and do some promotion, huh?
Yes.
Yes. Tell me about it. What's What do you feel like are blocks in the way of you doing that?
Um, I think it's like the imposter syndrome that's
Hmm.
coming up. It's complete. And I've gone back to editing so many times because I know once somebody else reads it, it's going to bring me the feedback. Is it good or it's not? Although I've sent it to many beta readers and they've all come back about this is a book that I wish I had and that I need. And they just had some had no editing, others just had some ways. Other so I've already gotten that positive feedback, yet still the little lingering part is still like, it's not going to be of anything. And why are you even bothering? And just leave it where it is and don't even put yourself out there.
Hmm. And what would be your worst fear come true if you were to go out there and start promoting? What would be the absolute worst thing that you can imagine happening?
And I wouldn't have the energy to manage all of the attention and the scheduling and putting myself out there.
Okay. And what's underneath that fear? Why wouldn't you have the
I
energy?
had lesions in my brain 11 years ago, so I almost died. I had lesions in my cerebellum and brainstem, and I don't have a diagnosis for it. And I was told I was going to
Aha.
die, yet I'm still here. And I was told if I was going to live, I'd be in a wheelchair and all that. Yet, thankfully, to meditation, those things started reversing. So, similar to your story.
Oh my goodness.
And stress is one of the big things. So, and I understand that stress is a very big thing. And I understand that the reason why is because of my early sexual trauma and my family orientation and a sense of abandonment. So my nervous system was wired in very hypervigilance and survival. And so I was very high functioning and going, going, going. And then my body said, stop. Although, I still don't know if it could have been even a virus or other things because medically I don't have it. Yet, what I do know is that when the lesions start getting activated or whatnot, my energy comes down. So it's like a fatigue that comes in. So now putting myself out there, it's activating cortisol and I can feel it.
Uh-huh.
However, it's to rewire my nervous system that I'm safe to speak and to offer what I've gone through. And because when I was young, my teachers used to ridicule and say how stupid I was or criticize and stuff like that. So the education part is in there
Hmm.
that I don't have anything and I'm not intelligent. Yet I know that not to be true, yet my body still, when I'm speaking this, I can feel the tinglies and it's not true, but it still feels like possibility that they did have something. So
Hmm.
um I've worked in there, yet I can still feel that there's certain parts. And I've taken action. Like I said, I've completed the book and I could give it to an editor right now. I'm just like, okay, let me just see if there's a little bit more that I can put that's more vulnerable that I was holding back from revealing from myself about this
Hmm.
work because the title of the book is called The Gift Wrapped in Sandpaper. So it's really understanding the nervous system, emotions, and what we
Hmm.
go through and everything else. So yeah,
Okay. Okay. Wow. Wow. Nat Nat.
yeah.
Hey, I'm new to this. You might have explained this trauma on your podcast before, but this feels like brand new to me. But so what I'm hearing though are two totally different um, blockages that both need to be addressed. One is the imposter syndrome and the history of teachers, telling you you're stupid and you're not intelligent. And, there's a different aspect to that than putting yourself out there, risking your health and possibly death for a book that feels really important and you're passionate about. So there's your body fears, and then there is kind of judgment and criticism fears that are based kind of in trauma. And this
Hmm.
one is also based in trauma, obviously,
Yeah.
but two totally different things, and both need to be addressed, but we can't do both. So
Yeah.
which one feels more significant?
I think the body one of the cortisol and making sure that my body feels safe in this unknown and publishing and everything else. So the rewiring of that, because the limiting belief, I can work with that. And I've already done, created the book and everything else. So obviously it's not hijacking me to the point where I don't know how to do it. And I'm
Right,
doing these podcasts and everything else. It's
right.
the making sure that my nervous system feels regulated with putting myself out there.
Yeah, yeah. Because if death is the possibility, then I can imagine that the idea of putting yourself out there and promoting this can be really scary, really, really scary.
And there's the
So,
financial aspect because I'm on a disability because I had to retire from that. So my
mhm,
disability has it. And then it's like the success. If I get a whole bunch of money, then that disability goes away. And will I be able to support myself in this new area?
uh-huh, uh-huh. So, yes, those are some big things. I'm going to separate out the
Yeah.
financial stuff too. That is another aspect
Yeah.
that I'm familiar with because of another client of mine, and it just really puts you in between a rock and a hard place. Like you are not encouraged to
To
go
get
out
better.
there and like make a success of yourself because there's a lot of
Yeah. Red tape.
consequences that
Yeah.
happen with making
Yeah.
more money than what their threshold is, which is
Yeah.
really little,
Really low. Yeah.
really low. Okay. Whew. Yeah, there's a lot of big blocks here.
See, and I don't see it as big. Like I know that my body is reacting, yet I also, because of what I experienced 11 years ago and how my life had to transform so much and the way that my life is, I know I'm taken care of. It's to trust to go to this other layer. Like I call it Donkey Kong, like these levels that you have to go through. And you're at one
Hmm.
level and you're at the top, but you just don't know what that next level looks like. And you just don't want
Yeah.
to fall back down or whatnot. Yet
Yeah.
it's like, no, no, no. You trust that you're taken care of and whatever you have to navigate, you'll have the capacity.
Yeah.
Easier said than done. And I've had to walk this journey all the time. I can feel that I'm at a space where I'm going to evolve. And it's
Hmm.
just to reinforce my body that we're safe to do this again. We're safe
Yeah.
to leap again into this new dimension.
Okay. Okay. So I'm going to ask you to close your eyes for a second, and I want you to sink your awareness down into your body. And when you think about all the stress and the cortisol and the scheduling and whatever you need to do to put yourself in front of people in order to promote this book and how much energy it's going to take. Where do you feel it in your body? And what is if we could name the emotion, what is it that you feel? And then 0 to 10, what is it on that scale?
I feel it in my face. I feel it in my kind of cheeks that there's a feeling that I'm being like there's a rising, like a pulling sensation that's coming on. And I do feel it in my chest also.
Uh-huh.
Um, the feeling is a mixture of fear yet excitement also, and they're intertwined with each other. they're
Okay.
um
Can you name the fear?
the fear is failure of um being ridiculed, the fear of stability.
What about your body?
My
Fear of
body
yeah.
feels
Feel the fear associated with your body and your history, physical history.
my head just throbs and with that fear.
Okay.
And then my chest feels it's not tight. It's just like there's a block there. There's a
As if like
heaviness there, but it's not like a constriction. Like I can
not
feel openness, but there's like a an armor, like there's something blocking right here.
Okay. And 0 to 10, how strong is that sensation in your chest in particular?
Mm. Unless I put my awareness on it, I don't really notice it, but feeling it right now,
Yes, I do want you to put your
maybe
awareness on it.
maybe a 4.
Okay. That's actually not that
No,
high.
it's not like it's not a whoo like, but my head, that's a different story.
Okay. Well, then what is your head? The throbbing
My
in your
head
head?
is probably like a 9.
9. Okay.
Yeah.
Was focusing on the wrong thing. Okay. Okay. And is it painful?
Yeah.
It's painful. Okay.
hmm hmm Yeah. I've been, because of the lesions and because they left scarring, I've been dealing with pain for like 11 years. But the pain is in a way of energy. But recently, the pain is here now. I didn't feel the pain before, but the pain is back. So I'm like, oh, okay. There's a lot of cortisol probably going through. So my body is trying to communicate with me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
See, what I find challenging with these things is that I know my nervous system is very intelligent. So I always want it to surrender and work with it and not create this illusion of I got it all together. It's like be vulnerable but I know this thing is so intelligent of hijacking that I'm like, okay, just calm down and just reveal yourself and everything. If that makes sense. If yeah.
Yeah, because our subconscious mind is always scanning the horizon for potential threats based on the pain that we've already experienced, right? And so it sees this new level of effort that you are putting yourself in the path of. And it's like, it's not always rational. In fact, most of the time it is not rational in its response.
Yeah.
Um, but it bases its response on who you were when it happened the first time.
Mhm.
So it doesn't recognize how much you've evolved and how much you've grown. So,
Mhm.
but it's still firing off and, really intense
Mhm.
signals
Mhm.
that we need to pay attention to because obviously it's still living somewhere in our body and we need to neutralize that. Okay, so let's start tapping your karate chop point together. And you're just going to repeat after me and tap where I tap and say what I say. Even though I have a lot of fear about how my body's going to react to this next phase in my career,
Even though, oh, I'm sorry, say that again.
even though I have a lot of fear
Even though I have a lot of fear,
about how my body's going to react to this next phase,
how my body's going to react to this next phase in my career,
I have been taking it easy for a long time,
I have been taking it easy for a long time,
trying to educate myself about what I've experienced and why.
trying to educate myself on what I experienced and why.
And I felt compelled to write this book and teach other people about what's happening
I felt compelled to write this book and teach other people of what could happen
because I want to help.
because I want to help.
I don't want anybody else to have to struggle like I did in the beginning.
I don't want anyone else to struggle like I did in the beginning.
And, but I'm also putting myself in a really vulnerable position physically.
I'm also putting myself in a vulnerable position, vulnerably, and risking a
Physically,
lot physically
um, because I get hyper vigilant
because I get hyper vigilant
and I have a lot of cortisol rushing through my body.
and I have a lot of cortisol rushing through my body.
And it could have a negative impact on my health.
And it could have a negative impact on my health.
So I've got my head is throbbing in pain around this.
My head is throbbing in pain around this,
And I deeply honor all my thoughts and feelings,
and I deeply honor all my thoughts and feelings,
even though I've got a lot of fear about next steps in my career.
even though I have a lot of fear on the next steps in my career.
And it's no wonder.
And it's no wonder.
I had a lot of stress in my life for many years,
I've had a lot of stress in my life for many years.
and my body reacted really severely to all that stress.
and my body reacted very severely to all the stress.
So I feel like I'm taking a huge risk by putting myself out there again.
So I feel like I'm taking a huge risk by putting myself out there again.
Ultimately, I could die from this effort.
Ultimately, I could die from this effort.
So it's no wonder I'm scared.
So it's no wonder I'm scared.
And I deeply honor all parts of who I am completely.
And I deeply honor all parts of who I am completely.
Even though I have this fear about all the effort it's going to take to promote my book.
Even though I have all this fear of all the efforts it's going to take to promote my book.
And I'm having visceral reactions in my body when I think about it.
And I'm having visceral reactions in my body when I think about it.
I have a throbbing pain in my head.
I have a throbbing pain in my head.
And I have a heaviness in my heart.
And I have a heaviness in my heart.
It feels like heavy armor.
It feels like heavy armor.
And I deeply honor everything I'm feeling.
And I deeply honor everything that I'm feeling.
And I honor my courage in tackling this issue.
And I honor my courage in tackling this issue.
Okay, now we're going to move to the repeater phrases and tapping around the other points. So we're going to start on our eyebrow point. All this fear about promoting my book.
All this fear about promoting my book.
On the side of your eye. It's going to take so much energy.
It's going to take so much energy.
It's going to require a lot of efforts in scheduling.
It's going to require a lot of efforts in scheduling
and putting myself out there.
And putting myself out there.
All of which is going to trigger cortisol in my body.
All of which is going to trigger cortisol in my body.
And I'm already feeling myself getting in that hypervigilant mode.
I'm already feeling myself getting in that hypervigilant mode.
And I know why I have it.
I know why I have it.
It's because of all the trauma when I was a kid.
It's because of all the trauma that I had as a kid.
But I want to be able to handle this differently now.
I want to be able to handle this differently now.
I've done so much work towards understanding what happened in my body back then.
I've done so much work on understanding what happened on my body back then.
I've gained so many resources to be able to manage that stress along the way.
I've gained so many resources to manage that stress along the way.
The truth is, I'm not the same person I was back then.
The truth is, I'm not the same person I was back then.
But it was a really painful experience to go through.
But it was a really painful experience to go through.
A really scary experience to go through.
A really scary experience to go through.
Especially when people are predicting that I'm going to be in a wheelchair the rest of my life.
Especially when people were predicting that I would be in a wheelchair the rest of my life.
And I'm scared that I'm risking that again.
I'm scared that I'm risking that again.
And I just want to honor that at the deepest level.
And I just want to honor that in the deepest level.
Because I am fearing for a part of me is fearing for my life as I take these steps forward.
Part of me is fearing for my life as I take these steps forward.
And at the same time, I feel compelled to do it.
At the same time, I feel compelled to do it.
I feel compelled to offer whatever wisdom I've gained.
I feel compelled to offer whatever wisdom I've gained.
In the hopes that it could change the perspective of one person.
In the hopes that it would,
change the perspective.
Yeah. In the hopes that it would change the perspective of another person.
And maybe help them along their path.
And maybe help them along their path.
And I just want to honor that at the deepest level.
And I just want to honor that at the deepest level.
Promoting myself would push me far outside my comfort zone.
Promoting myself would push me far outside of my comfort zone.
In more ways than one.
In more ways than one.
But all of those ways could trigger the fight or flight mode in my body.
Well, all of those ways or one of those ways could trigger the fight or flight in my body.
And release lots of cortisol.
And release lots of cortisol.
and create the potential for more brain lesions.
and create the potential of more brain lesions.
And I feel those shifts happening in my body again.
And I feel those shifts happening in my body again.
My head is in throbbing pain,
My head is in throbbing pain,
and I have a heaviness in my heart,
and I have a heaviness in my heart,
and I'm scared.
and I'm scared.
I'm so scared.
I'm so scared.
I don't want to put myself through that again.
I don't want to put myself through that again.
And I deeply honor all my thoughts and feelings about this.
And I deeply honor all my thoughts and feelings around this.
Thank goodness I've done so much work.
Thank goodness I've done so much work.
And I have so many tools now.
And I have so many tools now.
I have my meditation.
I have my meditation.
Now I have tapping.
Now I have tapping.
And it's possible that I could manage this really well.
And it's possible that I can manage this really well.
At even the slightest hint that my body is too stressed,
And even at the slightest hint that my body is too stressed,
I can be vigilant in a different way
I can be vigilant in a different way
and take care of myself.
and take care of myself.
If I start feeling the slightest hint of a reaction in my body,
If I feel the slightest hint of a reaction in my body,
I can stop everything,
I can stop everything,
turn inward,
turn inward,
and do my work,
and do my work,
utilize my resources,
utilize my resources,
and heal that part of myself that's really stressed.
and heal that part of myself that's really stressed.
And I deeply honor my courage in taking this approach.
And I deeply honor
Honor my
my courage of
in
taking this
taking this
approach. This approach.
Okay, nice deep breath. Okay, now keeping your eyes closed. I want you to sink your awareness down back into your body, in particular in your heart and in your head as well. And tell me where you are in your heart with the heaviness in your heart. You were at a 4.
I'd say a 1.
Nice. And what about the throbbing in your head?
I'd say a 4.
Oh my goodness, you came down a lot. Both of
Yeah.
those numbers. That's really huge.
Yeah.
And what do you think is left in that 4?
Mm. I think until I go through the experience, my body is still going to be in hypervigilance. It's until I think because I'm procrastinating a bit on the book that it's looping in my head that it's something that I promised myself to get done and I'm not doing it. So
Mm,
until I actually do it, my body is also not believing in my words or the experience. So it needs to have a lived experience, not just me talking myself through it and
right.
changing the expectations and the things around the book, and just letting it release and facing whatever comes, but also reminding, as you said in the tapping, that I have the power to stop everything or shift it in a different way.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, let's do one more quick tapping round because I tend to tap for a really long time. So I'm sorry, it's longer
All
than you
right.
expected.
Nope.
Let's do one more because your numbers have gotten down to anything below like a 3 and a 4. Um, we can really pile on like positive reinforcement, and your body and your mind will believe it now. Because when you're at like a 9, your body's like, bullshit. When you start saying positive stuff, like, I don't believe that for one bit. Like, you're not going to convince me otherwise. But when you get your number down to a 3 or 4, then your body and your mind can start really accepting the positive reinforcement around it. So
Yeah.
that's why we honor and acknowledge. I'm going to say the negative, but it's really the uncomfortable. I don't think any of these thoughts are negative, but I think that they are uncomfortable for people to sit with.
Mhm.
So we sit with those and we give them their day in court and honor and acknowledge them as much as they need so that they can let go. And then when they let go enough, then we can pile on all the positive stuff and have it feel true.
Mhm.
So let's just pile on the positive stuff. And we're going to forego the karate chop point right now. And we're just going to start right on your eyebrow point. I still have a lot of fears about finishing this book and moving forward.
I still have a lot of fear about finishing this book and moving forward.
There's a lot of risk involved in many different areas.
There's a lot of risk involved in many different areas.
And there's a part of me that is procrastinating on finishing it.
And there's a part of me that's procrastinating on finishing it.
Maybe my perfectionism is getting in the way.
Maybe my perfectionism is getting in the way.
Or maybe it's just really hard to take next steps.
Maybe it's really hard to take next steps.
And I deeply honor all my thoughts and feelings about this.
And I deeply honor all my thoughts and feelings around this.
Promoting a book is far outside my comfort zone.
Promoting a book is far outside my comfort zone.
Even writing a book is far outside my comfort zone.
Even writing a book is far outside my comfort zone.
And the idea of convincing people that my experience makes me an expert.
And the fear of convincing people that my experience makes me an expert
Makes me feel like an imposter.
makes me feel like an imposter.
I'm putting my financial status at risk.
I'm putting my financial status at risk.
So all this procrastination has a number of blocks.
So all this procrastination has a number of blocks.
And I just want to honor that a part of my mind and my body are just trying to keep me safe.
Just, I want to honor that a part of my body and mind are trying to keep me safe.
It's just trying to keep me safe.
It's just trying to keep me safe.
And I also want to remember that there's another part of me that is really excited about these next steps.
And I want to honor that there's another part of me that's really excited about these next steps.
I've worked really hard to get here.
I've worked really hard to get here.
So much time and energy and effort has been put into myself
So much time and energy has been put into myself
and put into this book.
and put into this book.
My heart is in this book.
My heart is in this book.
And my intention is to share it so that it helps others.
My intention is to share it so that it helps others.
And in a situation like this, I have to get myself out of the way.
In a situation like this, I have to get myself out of the way.
I can't help others if I keep the book to myself.
I can't help others if I keep the book to myself.
And if this book is divinely inspired,
And if this book is divinely inspired,
I have to get myself out of the way.
I have to get myself out of the way.
And maybe getting myself out of the way is part of my spiritual journey.
And maybe getting myself out of the way is part of my spiritual journey.
I want to surrender all this fear.
I want to surrender all this fear.
I want to feel the fear and be able to move forward anyway.
I want to be able to feel the fear and move the same
Forward
way.
anyway.
Forward anyway.
I've come this far.
I've come this far.
My only regret at this point would be to not take the next steps.
My only regret would be to not take the next steps.
So I have to keep moving.
So I have to keep moving.
I have to get myself out of the way.
I have to get myself out of the way.
My heart is in this book,
My heart is in this book,
but getting it out there is not about me.
but getting it out there is not about me.
It can't be about me.
It can't be about me.
And I deeply honor all my thoughts and feelings about this.
And I deeply honor all my thoughts and feelings about this.
And I want to let go of all fear associated with this.
And I want to let go of all fear associated to this.
I want to release all fear from every part of my body.
I want to release all fear in every part of my body.
I'm releasing it from every cell.
I'm releasing it from every cell.
I'm releasing it from every cell membrane.
I'm releasing it from every cell membrane.
I'm releasing it from all my bodily fluids.
I'm releasing it from all my bodily fluids.
I'm releasing it from all my soul memory
I'm releasing it from all my soul memory
and every fiber of my being, including my aura.
and every fiber of my being, even my aura.
I'm releasing all fear now.
I'm releasing all fear now.
And I am giving myself the courage to take the next steps, however small they are.
And I'm giving myself the courage to take the next steps, no matter how small they are.
Just one small step forward is something I can do today.
Just one small step forward is something I can do today.
And I really honor my courage in taking this approach.
And I really honor my courage in taking this approach.
Okay, nice deep breath. Okay, keeping your eyes closed again. Let's just kind of reevaluate heaviness in your heart. Where were you? Where are
There's
you?
still a one, there's still some heaviness,
Okay, and
but
what
the
about?
head has come down like a two or three.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it
Okay.
is fantastic.
Yes. Yes, that's wonderful. Congratulations. Good
Thank
work.
you. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm
Mm-hmm.
happy to do it.
Thank you. I appreciate this and I appreciate being witnessed in this. You know, doing this work, it um some of our work is similar, of really understanding that nervous system and fear
Mhm.
and our beliefs and everything else. And being witnessed in this and allowing myself to surrender, I'm truly grateful for this. I really, really am. And
You're
I
welcome.
am thankful that, that we are joined right now so that other people can see what's possible for them and
Yeah.
see what the benefits are for them.
Yeah.
And so I'm hoping that, always in my mind, and, you've said the phrases in there, one is a million. So if it's one person that is transformed or finds help in this, then that means, I've done what I need to do.
Yeah.
So if one person hears this podcast and is able to reach out to you and see what's possible for them, I'm very honored with you allowing me to be in front of you and do the work. So thank you so much, Amy.
Oh, you're so welcome. I'm really glad that it brought your number down at least a little bit today. If
Oh
we had
yeah.
more time, we'd get you to a zero. I'm
Yeah.
convinced.
I know. I have no doubt with it. I have no doubt because we did this in very quick time. And I think, the quick time is also too because of the work that I do so that the
Oh,
nervous
sure.
system can surrender and
Yeah.
allow it to receive and feel safe in this. Because
And
hypervigilance is an awful thing to navigate through to find that
yeah.
safety and
Yeah.
openness.
One thing I do want to point out is that you will likely be triggered by this exact same thing over and over again through this journey because we haven't totally neutralized the trauma of having this physical problem earlier in your life.
Mm-hmm.
And because it's an ongoing issue. So it's not, I don't want you to expect that it will stay at the low number that it is
No, no, no,
because
I don't. I don't.
you will
I know.
continue to be triggered along the way whenever something new comes up. The first time you go out and talk about your book in front of a group, it's going to go up. And the first time you, I don't know, do something else, it'll go up again. So
Yeah.
just expect that you have to continue to do this along the way.
Oh, I know. I know.
Yeah.
That's the one thing I always tell myself and my clients is that there's no arrival. And
Right.
the tools that you've been using, a lot of times people are like, "Oh, I feel good, so I'm just going to let these drop like a crutch," and then everything starts to fumble down and it's like, are you doing your mirror work? Are you doing your tapping? Are you doing your
Right.
meditation? Are you doing it's like, "Oh, yeah, it's been a long time." And it's like, "Well, there you go. You're not taking care of your nervous system and allowing it to not get we're always going to constantly get triggered. It's just how are we going to respond or react in those triggers? Are we able to identify and meet ourselves with it rather than try to run away, try to, numb it and everything else? So it's being able to recognize those triggers and then meet yourself of what do you need?
And I truly think too that tapping is a powerful enough tool to heal trauma at its source so
Mhm.
that the amount of times that we are triggered gets less and less the more we do this work. I'm not the same person I was when I started doing tapping, and I have totally neutralized some huge, huge triggering elements in my life, and they no longer bug me at all. So
Mhm.
the amount of things that makes me anxious is cut in half or less, and I continue to kind of take them on one by one as soon as I recognize what it is that needs my attention. So I think you're right. We will continue to get triggered. And I do think that we can neutralize it at the source. So getting rid of it entirely is possible.
Yeah, because that's the thing. Like, I know this book, it has some attachment to what I experienced with Natalie, and her, passing and the cancer treatments and me holding space and everything else. So some of that grief is attached into this book and what I'm experiencing and going through. So it's like, okay, life is going to happen. There's no control over it. So that's why I say triggers, our nervous system doesn't know past, present, or future. So it's just sensations that come up. But if we've allowed ourselves to feel them, like you said, some people don't want to feel it. So that's why it
Yeah.
goes into such an extreme. Yet if you're willing to feel it, that's where the neutralizing, like you said about the trigger, and you're like, oh, of course, this is a human experience that you're feeling. Fear
Yeah.
is a human experience. There's like, if you're
Yes.
not feeling any kind of fear, then you're in a dangerous spot because your nervous system has to keep you protected
Yeah.
in a way. And grief is part of living, and
Yeah.
pain is a teacher. It's part of what it is to be human and go through the experience. So I
Yeah.
thank you
Yeah.
so very much.
Oh, you're
We will
welcome.
be in contact. And can you let the listeners know where they can find you?
Absolutely. You can always email me, Amy at soarwithtapping.com. And I also have an app that has over 160 different tapping scripts, a whole section on goal support for just the type of thing that we were tapping on today, and 11 other different categories and meditations. So I encourage everybody to download it either through the Android or the Google or the Apple app stores. And yeah, yeah, start tapping. Just
Yeah.
start. Yeah.
Now, I want to bring you into a reflective question.
Hmm.
I want to ask you to bring your awareness right now and to go back to your 18-year-old self. And you have 3 words you can tell your 18-year-old self to carry you to the journey right now. What would that be?
Surrender, compassion for self. And this is a good question, Nat. Let's see. Compassion, surrender, and curiosity.
Powerful words. And that those really bring you through the journey.
Hmm. Hmm.
Now, I know there's a listener that needs to hear something from you. So it might be an anxious listener or fearful or somebody that might even just be numb. If you can reach into yourself and intuitively tap into what is the one sentence you think that will help that one listener that's listening in.
I would just say that I don't think that there are any negative emotions. I think the negativity comes in when we judge and criticize our emotions. So if we just allow ourselves to feel them, to turn into them when they arise, and instead of analyzing it intellectually, really feel it in our bodies, and that is what makes it go away. Studies have shown that like you feel a feeling for 90 seconds, which is not very long, 90 seconds, and it starts to go away. So, whatever it is you're feeling, you just allow it to happen and feel it in your body, and then you can release it much faster. Tapping helps, but if you don't have that, then just turn into it.
Thank you, Amy. And, thank you for the alchemy that you've done in your life. You've taken those impurities and you've turned them into gold, yet you didn't keep the gold for yourself. You're sharing it with others. So thank you for being that living testament of what's possible and what the body can go through and heal into. So thank you so much, Amy, for being here.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Please remember to be kind to yourself. Hey, you made it all the way here. I appreciate you and your time. If you found value in this conversation, please share it out. If there was somebody that popped into your mind, take action and share it out with them. It possibly may not be them that will benefit, it's that they know somebody that will benefit from listening to this conversation. So please take action and share out the podcast. You can find us on social media on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok under Lift Oneself. And if you want to inquire about the work that I do and the services that I provide to people, come over on my website, come into a discovery call, liftoneself.com. Until next time, please remember to be kind and gentle with yourself. You matter.